on how you felt the other night as you ran in here, and how you felt the elation of what we had accomplished, what we had done, and how, in some ways, we had to gut it out to do it. Well, we need to feel that exact same feeling tonight. So as you start getting yourself warmed up there, and as you start thinking through the process, as we start going through Georgia Tech on the board, I want to have you understand that that feeling is 40 minutes away. It's 40 minutes of a lot of hard work, of concentration, of making sure you pay attention to who I'm playing, where I'm playing. It's 40 minutes away from getting back in defense every time, making sure we use our rebounding advantage. We're plus 10 compared to them on the backboards. They're almost a minus team in this tournament. They are a minus team, actually. So we've got to make sure that we have that feeling that if we come out, pay attention, do the things necessarily for 40 minutes, because this is it. It's two standing. At the end, somebody puts their finger up and says, hey, we're the best. And we are the best.
The Connecticut Huskies. Let's meet the starting lineups. At forward for Georgia Tech, a 6'7" junior from Birmingham, Alabama, number 55, Anthony McHenry. At forward for Connecticut, a 6'5" sophomore from Lakeland, Florida, number 31, Rashad Anderson. At forward for Georgia Tech, a 6'4" senior from Germantown, Maryland, number 24, Marvin Lewis. At forward for Connecticut, a 6'10" freshman from Mount Airy, Maryland, number 21, Josh Boone. At center for Georgia Tech, a 7'1" junior from Hope Forest, South Australia, number 12, Luke Schenscher. At center for Connecticut, a 6'10" junior from Houston, Texas, number 50, Emeka Okafor. At guard for Georgia Tech, a 6'4" junior from Madison, Georgia, number 1, B.J. Elder. At guard for Connecticut, a 6'1" senior from Queens, New York, number 12, Talik Brown. At guard for Georgia Tech, a 6'3" sophomore from Port Washington, Maryland, number 3, Jarrett Jack. And at guard for Connecticut, a 6'3" junior from Mount Vernon, New York, number 4, Ben Gordon. Assisting the Yellow Jackets tonight are Dean Keener, Willie Reese, and Cliff Warren. The head coach for Georgia Tech is Paul Hewitt. Assisting the Huskies are Tom Moore, George Blaney, and Clyde Vaughn. And the head coach for Connecticut is Jim Calhoun.
Jim Calhoun has never lost in the Final Four. He's 3-0, having won the championship in '99 over Duke and defeating Duke here on Saturday. And Billy, here are your championship.
Has, as we know, been the nation's best player this year. He is incredible. You can see his stats, 17 points per game. In the game they played earlier this year, though, with back problems, he did not have a big game, only 2 for 10. He had 6 blocks, played 34 minutes, but the nation's #1 shot blocker is tough. Flash Gordon. Ben Gordon, outstanding point performer, the leading scorer of any guy that's in the Final Four. Very difficult to stop. Respect for Elder. B.J. Elder has had his problems. He's only scored 2 points in the last 3 games. He was the 5th leading scorer in the ACC. Tonight, I'm watching him in practice. He had better lift in his leg than I've seen. And of course, you've got the magic number 70. Georgia Tech 24-0 when holding teams under 70 points per game. So watch how this game unfolds. Is it going to be one of those type of games, or will Connecticut get it running?
Tonight's game brought to you in HD TV by Harris Corporation, world leader in broadcast systems. For high-definition television, Dick Cartmel. Vern Harris, Randy McCall get the championship call from the officiating crew, and here we go. And look, it's going to be Boone jumping it up against Schencher to get things started.
And will probably be the matchup, giving Okafor an opportunity to, in effect, play that great one-man.
UConn wanting to run things.
And Okafor getting down the court and hurt.
Gordon, nope. Okafor put back. Oh, and
Over the back.
And it's Boone. Nope. Swipe back out. Okafor tips it to Gordon. It's going to be Anderson again with the three. Yes.
You can see the tempo that Jim Calhoun wants.
They're going to with one over the back. Huskies again pushing it up. It's Gordon looking for the jumper again. Yes.
That's working out. Here's a little zone action right now. Little matchup zone action.
Villanueva has come in with 3 seconds on the shot clock and the dunk. Boy, that'll put it away.
Now, I'm not going to let him get the wide open look for three. Well scouted.
Okafor turnaround, easy two. Pass, they're trying to go into Tarver, who just came in the game, way too high. On the run, the Huskies, and Boone. Yes, the freshman scored.
Good blocking out.
And again is Boone.
See, this game is the way Connecticut wants to play. Moving it up and down the floor, hitting from the outside. When he's so far out, he's a no factor. He ought to dribble closer to Jack and then make the play.
Gordon again. Wow.
Looking for a little high-low action, Boone and Okafor.
Couldn't resist. They've been beaten with pass
And a break.
No great numbers, but Talik's going to make something happen. Yes! Got the little scoop shot to go, +1.
Do you remember the name Ricky Moore?
I do
How
indeed.
about that? It looked exactly the way Moore played against Duke. Good crossover dribble, hard-nosed leader, all-time assist man at Connecticut. Assists himself on a fine play.
Ricky Morrow had that huge first half against Duke in the championship game in '99. Talik Brown had scored on a jumper on the
Check to change this around a little bit. We're back in a little matchup zone now.
Denton Brown hollering for it. Gets the shot he wanted.
Boom, another great rebound.
Boy, this freshman is something else. They all
Their offense trying to get it back quickly. That's not their game.
Plus that wild shot, definitely influenced by the presence of Emeka at the other end. Yes.
Ball here cannot.
And Gordon has the 2-on-1. What will they do? Send him to the line. Bynum on the hack.
Boy, Jack had pulled the string. That's the second play. Connecticut's best free throw shooter. Solid commanding lead and a solid style of play for Connecticut. So replay.
Yep.
Replay drive on the inside. Now Bynum now starting to break down that dribble.
Double team on Okafor, and he is going right to that line.
Than that, he has been terrific in the low post. Exactly what we expected. Mr. Perfect.
And that foul on Tarver, one more for UConn. Had come out of that city. Jake Bosco started for the '99 championship team.
Everything you can, but Okafor's awful strong in there.
They had no scoring for over 2 minutes, and Muhammad on the reach. But again, that'll just be a 1-on-1 for Talik Brown, who struggles. Ben Gordon leading the way in scoring here.
Beautiful outside jump shot, knows how to pull up. He has been out of this game for a while now, and that was probably part of the reason for the drought, where Connecticut was off to a real nice run.
Saw that three there. He became UConn's all-time three-point marksman, 243 on the career.
Passing Chris Smith.
Yep, just did that on Pennsylvania, hometown of Richard Hamilton. Had such a big role in the championship of '99.
Man making the inbounds pass. Don't make it anyway.
Can't do it. It's Anderson. Plenty of time. 2 seconds. Step back three. Yes! It's a UConn half.
Absolutely Tarver right with him. Missed free throws by Georgia Tech. Really hard.
They may review this one. In fact, they are. They're heading over to the monitors right now. Is it a 2 or is it a 3?
In any case, it's going to be points.
And in any case, it's going to be Georgia Tech's largest deficit at halftime all season long.
I believe his foot was over the line, Jim. But a good job by Connecticut to recognize the time. Anderson looked up at the clock and hit the shot.
They're going to count it. They're going to count it as a 2. So there you go. 41-26 is the halftime score. Let's go to Bonnie Bernstein.
Jim Calhoun. we got caught by Duke and then got down and kind of played from behind the whole time. So really important for us to run the basketball. And the second thing we did early, we really rebounded the basketball.
You got a 15-point lead. Your team's 20 minutes away from a national championship. What do you say to them in the locker room?
We're 20 minutes away from a victory. And so right now, we just got to play 20 good minutes of defensive basketball.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you, Bonnie. 41-26 Connecticut at halftime. Greg Gumbel and company coming up.
Steals, but not getting it done tonight.
Brown quickly down, and Okafor, yes, this time.
Good hit ahead.
Look at the no-look pass to Anderson. Talik Brown, the all-time assist man.
You know, I think that Okafor is far superior to Spencer at this point in his career.
Again, look at that right there.
Right here is when you try to press Connecticut, that spreads them out on the floor, which they do really well. And if Brown beats you with a dribble, that's going to leave somebody open for the shot.
Anderson, 2-point shot. The second on Bynum. Gordon. Oh, he had it.
We're playing right behind him, and here's the hit ahead.
Okafor got stuck. Tipped up by Boone.
Tech had beating Connecticut and Texas Tech. Muhammad was outstanding. But a different day today.
Gordon jumper. He knows he's got Okafor there to retrieve, and he missed. 6. Okafor now with that rebound. A double-double here in the finals. 17 points, 10 rebounds. Doubled up. Good pass.
Nice. And got on the weak side, Jared Jackson. You know, it's interesting also to see the difference in this team with a totally healthy Okafor. And there's Anderson, a hack-a-shack type of defensive strategy, it doesn't look like. Let's see if Brown handles it, what they'll do.
Then Brown. And good night. Was it on the front of the rim still?
I believe so. I believe he
remaining 17-point comfortable margin that has been all second half long. Little jumper, Okafor again.
Time off the clock. You're going to try to get back in this because you got to figure Connecticut would make some of the fouls.
Now with 10 on the shot clock, Okafor makes his move and gets the hoop. An incredible oddity. This young man right here, Ed Nelson, was the ACC Rookie of the Year 2 years ago at Georgia Tech. And imagine he leaves Georgia Tech last year, a starter at Tech, going to transfer. He has transferred to Connecticut. He sits out this season. Can you imagine the odds of having his old team play his new team, and he has to sit out for the championship? He asked him before the game. He said, and they're incredibly long odds. I wish I could have that kind of luck with a lottery ticket one day when I'm older. But he'll be, they say, quite a contributor here to UConn. You start thinking about some of the young players they're going to have in this program, and it's going to be a program that's going to be good for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. It's not a Jim Calhoun has a team. Guys have programs, and he certainly has one that is going to be consistently good as long as he's there.
Back to the line with just under 11 seconds remaining.
Anderson, who has put himself squarely in a position next year to be one of the Big East top players.
Big time.
Yep.
Boone, Villanueva.
And Jim, what's going to be interesting when you start projecting into next year, Georgia Tech with basically their team back, Duke with basically their team, Wake Forest with all of their team, North Carolina with all of their team, and Maryland basically with all of theirs. The Atlantic Coast Conference, that was the #1 rated conference in the country this year, going to be very, very strong, as will the Big East.
Over again, Wild this time into Okafor to Talik, and that's going to do it. The game is over. UConn's the national champion for 2004. Calhoun so relaxed here in San Antonio all week. Took his team everywhere. Didn't hold back. Didn't sequester the team out of the downtown area here. Had him out on the Riverwalk. Took him to the NCAA salute presentation on Thursday. First coach to ever take his team to that event. Let him be introduced. Total access. You saw when Greg and our studio guys came on, there's total access here to his pregame talk. He's a changed man since his last championship. At age 61, he, just a year ago, was battling prostate cancer during the middle of the season. He missed 16 days of work after surgery, February 6, 2003. Says, I woke up and realized how lucky I was. I had a great family. I had 5 grandchildren, a tremendous wife, 2 healthy sons, and I was doing something I loved. UConn, there was never a doubt tonight. Not the best team on this floor. The Mecca of college basketball is in Storrs, Connecticut. The Huskies take the title, 82-73. We'll hear from them as we continue from San Antonio in a moment.
The Chevrolet Most Valuable Players of the National Championship game. For Georgia, Will Bynum with 17 points. And for the UConn Huskies, Emeka Okafor, 24 points, 15 rebounds. Let's return you down on the floor. Jim and Billy are standing by. Take it away, Jim.
All right, thank you, Greg Gumbel. And I'm here with the national champions, the UConn Huskies. And Coach Calhoun, I look around here, I see so many familiar faces. Your championship team of 99, your championship team of 04, and the family theme is really evident here tonight. Tell me about this special night.
Well, with Rip and Ray and Danielle and Donnie and so many more guys, Bull, Donnie Marshall, all those guys, and then and my posse, and these people up here who are so special to us.
What made the difference here tonight? You had a 15-point lead at halftime. What was the strategy, and how did it pay off?
We wanted to keep on running, and then we fell into conservative mode, but we still had the game in hand, and I felt very comfortable. Those last 8 threes or whatever they made were absolutely special, and this wouldn't have all happened except for our great fans from the state of Connecticut.
Used to say the object is to win the game. Is that what came across your mind when you had that kind of lead?
Yeah, you know, with about 6 minutes to go, we wanted to make sure that we stood on that podium. Yeah. And so instead of making it a fast shoot game, we try to have them come and catch us. When they try to press, we get it up to 20. And then they made more threes, I think, than I can count right now. And made me a little nervous, but I trust this team. And from day one, I told you guys, I think this team can win a national championship. You know what? It's it.
You know what else you told us one time? Win or lose, you like this team.
No, I love this team.
Hey, let's see if we can get Emeka over here. He's taping the whole thing. Emeka. You've won the national championship. What do you have to say about this moment and to those fans up there and to the rest of the team?
Man, it's hard to put in words. Couldn't have done without our fans, couldn't have done without our teammates. You know, it was a great effort. It was a great season. You know, we had our ups and downs, but this moment makes it all worthwhile. You know, for 2004, we're national champions. You know, that's all of us, it's together.
Did you ever think that you weren't going to get there Saturday?
I mean, a little bit of doubt crept in my mind, but, you know, I knew if I doubted, that's when we were going to lose. So I just put up those negative thoughts and just kept hope alive. And we came out, snuck by Duke, and came out and, you know, grabbed the national title.
Congratulations.
All right, congratulations, Ben, Rashad, and all the Huskies, both old and new, the national champions here in San Antonio. We'll be back in just a moment.
Back to San Antonio, back inside the Alamo Dome. Greg Gumbel along with Clark Kellogg and Seth Davis on the heels of Connecticut's 82-73 victory over Georgia Tech. 25-point second half lead, way too much for Georgia Tech to overcome.
Emeka Okafor, Ben Gordon, too much talent for a Georgia Tech team that had a terrific year but was not on top of their game when they needed to be most against a very, very good Connecticut team.
I thought Okafor and Boone in the opening moments of the game was huge, and Georgia Tech's inability to make free throws, especially late in the first half, they missed a lot of one-on-ones, just allowed Connecticut to run them out of the building.
Second national title for the UConn Huskies. It's now time for the presentation of the NCAA championship trophy. Here's public address announcer Gene Honda.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Mr. Bob Bowlesby, athletic director at the University of Iowa and chairman of the Division I Men's Basketball Committee, who is joined by Dr. Miles Brand, president of the NCAA, will present the national championship trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, join me on behalf of the NCAA and the Division I Men's Basketball Committee in congratulating both of these teams for a great run through the NCAA tournament. And now is it with great pleasure that on behalf of Miles Brand and the NCAA and the Division I Men's Basketball Committee, I present the 2004 Division I Men's Basketball Championship Trophy to Coach Jim Calhoun and the University of Connecticut Huskies.
I just want to congratulate Georgia Tech for making me sweat so much and really playing a great basketball game. I want to thank the greatest fans in America from the University of Connecticut, our UConn Huskies. And I really want to thank San Antonio, who put on one of the great events of all time. And lastly, a team that can really play and that I fell in love with. Thanks very, very much.
We'll come back to San Antonio shortly. We'll hear from Georgia Tech head coach Paul Hewitt, and don't forget, one shining moment still to come from the Alamo Dome. We'll be back.